All right, the last time I spoke with you guys in my last 10-minute presentation, I kind of went over a general broad of what kind of stuff Smith's Plumbing offers. Today, I'm really going to hone in on tankless water heaters and just explain a couple things to everybody. An electric water heater, as far as efficiency rating goes, an electric water heater is between 35 and 55% efficient. Gas water heaters are between 45 and 65% efficient. That's newer models, and that's for the first 8 years of the heater's life. After 8 years, the heater's not efficient anymore by EPA standards. A tankless water heater is 99.7% efficient. That means, like, okay, let's just say this is a tank water heater, big tank, this tall, 50 gallons, okay? All the burner assembly, the fire, and everything for that water heater is down low. Okay, so it uses the heat from down low to heat the water, and then the vent takes the heat out of the flue. Is what we call it, the metal venting. Tankless water heater actually has a fan on top that comes out of the burner system, redirects the hot vent to go back through and use the venting to help heat the water. So when we're able to vent it, we're able to vent it with PVC because it's a cold vent atmosphere. So that being said, the heaters that we use are Navien 240As, and the 240A stands for 240 Advanced. That's because that heater has a built-in circulating pump on the inside of it. So if you're going into older homes that aren't set up for a recirc system, we're able to install this water heater, put a cross connection piece underneath. Usually a lot of customers I hear complain about the kitchen taking 5 minutes to get hot. Everything else gets hot quick, but the kitchen takes 5 minutes. That's usually because when they're building the house, that's the last thing on the loop when they do it. That's the last. So it's got to push all that cold water out of the whole system before it gets hot. We can put that cross connection piece underneath the kitchen sink, and you're going to have an instant loop built inside of the older homes that don't have a loop, and now you have instant hot water at all the fixtures. Last weekend, I believe, last week we was in Oklahoma City actually getting level 3 training on this tankless. They showed us how to tear the whole heater down, put it all back together, and if you can believe this, I'm able to take every component out of that water heater, replace it with new components, and fire it back up in 32 minutes. Okay, that's the recirc pump, the buffer tank, the heat exchanger, all the gas piping, all that in 32 minutes. This heater also, it's a benefit for us on the Navien because a lot of the Rinnais and the Takagis, these are other brand names, higher end brand names of tankless, they require a dedicated gas line from the meter. So if you think about that, a gas line in our eyes is going to run you minimum $1,500. So you add that on top of the price of the tankless, then the tankless is really up there, and a lot of customers see that upfront pricing and it kind of scares them. But that being said, the Navien is able to run off negative gas pressure. That means that the Navien has a fan inside the gas motor itself, which sucks the gas to it. So it's able to run on about 3.5 inches of water column. Now I know you guys probably don't understand what that is, but imagine a tank heater, a Rinnai tankless heater needs 4.5 to 7.5 inches of water column to run correctly. The Navien, 3.5. So that means we can take the gas line that you have there and actually reduce it down to 1/2 inch and feed our tankless with that gas line. Now, there's not another tankless on the market that can run off of that. We was able to tank the tankless. We had it hooked up to another tankless. It was running. We actually cut the gas pressure down to that tankless to 0.33 inches of water column, and it still performed. So that tells you that when you're in the winter time and you're using every gas outlet that you have, say you're cooking on your stove, you got the furnace bumping, and you got two fireplaces going. When that heater kicks on, if the gas size is not correct on these other tanklesses like the Takagis and the Rinnais, when that heater kicks on, it's going to suck the gas from another outlet. Whether it's the furnace, the fireplace, or the stove, you're gonna notice it because you're gonna be in the shower and that furnace is gonna kick on and your hot water is gonna go away. I don't like that. I've never met a person who did like that. If you do like that, don't call us for your tankless because that's not gonna happen, okay? With this tankless, I spoke about a buffer tank. It has a half-gallon buffer tank on the inside of it, which when that tank, it circulates that water inside that tank. When that water reaches a temperature of below 99.8 degrees, the heater kicks itself on for 5 seconds to recirculate that water, which in turn prevents freezing. Okay, we used to use Rinnais. The reason we stopped using Rinnais, we've got 2 systems from the factory, installed them in a new home application. There was no water on the house. There was no gas to the house. We didn't turn the water on or the gas, didn't put anything on the tanklesses. When they came and turned the water on after the tankless sit there, both the tankless coils were burst. And that was just from the residual water that was on the side of it. And a lot of that goes back to the material that they're using on the inside of these units. They use copper heat exchangers, copper coils and stuff in their Rinnais. The Navians, it's all stainless steel. Every component on the inside of it is stainless steel. This prevents scale buildup. This is great for customers that are in rural areas that are on well water, because well water will wear out a tankless water heater in about 6 years. But if you have this tankless, if you have a Navian, this stainless steel, the scale does not build up inside of that system from well water. So it's great for that application, so if you guys are wondering about that. Something else that we're offering that we didn't offer the last time that I spoke with you guys is leak detection. We're able to do leak detection in-house, where a lot of other plumbing companies have to call another company to come out and locate the leak. You pay that customer or that company X amount of dollars, then we come in behind that company and say, well, this is where the leak is, it's gonna be this amount. With us, we could come in, say, okay, here's your leak. We was gonna say, I'm just putting numbers out here, this is not pricing. Say we're gonna charge $350 for that leak detection. They say, okay, locate it, we locate it. We say, okay, your leak's here, we're gonna have to bust up the concrete, it's gonna be $2,000 to fix. Well, okay, we're gonna credit you about more than half of that money on that leak detection towards your repair. That way we can keep the work in-house. And that's a benefit for us and it's a benefit for your customer because they don't have to call 2 people and deal with 2 people, they're dealing with 1. So the rest of my time I'm gonna take today is, does anybody have any questions about plumbing that they would like to have answered? Mike?
Yeah, what's the, so price on average, water heater, electric water heater versus the Navian, what does that look like?
The price difference?
Yeah, price difference.
Okay.
And what's the cost benefit analysis if you have one?
Yeah, I do. A regular electric water heater, first floor for you guys. Okay, this pricing is for you, is $1,200. Okay, a tankless water heater, now that we don't have to do a gas line, we're going to be in the range of probably $4,500 to $5,500. And I know that seems like a bunch, but I'll tell you what happened this weekend. I went to a customer's house. She had Conway out before us. They tried to sell her on 500 different things. I get there, she has 2 electric water heaters. It's a weekend price. She's a realtor for Crylite. I gave her a price of $2,500 to replace both of them. She's like, okay, that's fine. We did it. She was extremely happy. I'm talking to the customer afterwards, just making sure she's happy with everything that we did and we did a professional job. And she mentioned to me that Conway wanted $4,000 to change 2 electric water heaters. $4,000. Now that price, just so you know, I mean, you guys seen water heaters at Lowe's and Home Depot. You know, you can get an electric water heater for $325. So you just think about the kind of pricing that's going on out there. I highly encourage anybody, if you've got a plumbing issue and it's a big issue like that, regardless if you use us or not, let us come out and just give you a quote and say, hey, look, here, if you want to use this quote to go to 5 other plumbing companies and get quotes and see if we're comparable to them, we're okay with that because we know that our pricing is where it needs to be and we're going to come in right. And we also, in the past 6 months, we've gained like 45 reviews on Google from using this podium. We're almost at 300 reviews. And for us being a company that's only been around for 9, 10 years, that's huge. I mean, everybody goes to their phone and types it in and Googles it, and we're right there. Harry?
We said something about the cold air, venting on the tank. Is that, with the PVC, is that electric and gas on the, technical side water heater?
Well, you have, with a regular gas water heater, you still have to have a 120 outlet because it runs off of the outlet to spark the fire and to run the display. We also offer an electric tankless that doesn't require gas. There's two different. But the thing about the electric is you usually have to have 240 volts running to there and 480 volts. And really there's only 240 with an electric water heater, so you have to pull another line.
All right, so on the cool air venting with PVC, does it have to break the plane of the actual roof, or can it
Yes.
get into the attic?
No, it has to break the plane of the roof. Good thing about that is we're able to take our pipe, PVC piping, and put it inside of the metal piping, and we have an adapter that goes on the top of it. So we don't have to make an extra roof penetration. There is two vents that come off the water heater. You got an intake and an outtake. So the intake is usually inside. We just suck it from the attic or the hall closet, whichever we're doing, and then the exhaust goes out. So it's cool atmosphere, but it's still carbon dioxide that's coming out of it. So you're still getting the same effect. Wayne?
The propane tanks, do they run on as low PSI as your gas?
The propane tanks, actually, the orifices on a propane tank are a little bigger.
Yeah, I knew they were different.
So if, what'll happen is if you take that propane tank, propane water heater, and you hook it up to natural gas, you'll have about 100% extra flame. So we've done one before where we hooked up a stove, the customer bought it, thought it was natural gas, it was actually propane. When we turned it on, it shot flames about this high, about an ounce.
Ooh, I bet it cooks. You can watch that whole pot.
Yes.
And you said that the natural gas will run on negative pressure.
Yeah.
Will the propane run on the negative pressure as well?
Yes, and just so everyone knows, our tankless water heater, to convert our tankless water heater from natural gas to propane takes 2 minutes. It's one orifice, it takes 2 screws, you take it out, put the new orifice in, screw it in, that's it. Same heater, just different application.
All right, guys, if you guys want more information about these.
1-to-1.
Things you can 1-on-1.